I'm finally doing it. I'm spending some bread on ads to promote my music. I have no clue how to do this, really, so we'll see how this goes. This is Road to Pro Producer, a series where I document my journey creating and releasing music for my artist project. The current goal is to reach 100,000 plays on an independent release. Where we left off, I had just hit 3,000 streams, or 3% of the way to the goal. Last episode, I shared how I was going ham, posting content to TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts. Today, we're going to look at this whole ad campaign, but first, a quick update on how that social media stuff is going. So long story short, I stopped. It started with feeling a little off about posting to TikTok. Like my focus had been posting 3 times a day, a similar thing every single day, and it felt repetitive. It began to feel like something I wouldn't really want to stand by. This isn't something I would want to follow on TikTok. And I saw other artists that I look up to finding success in posting more creative videos, something more engaging to watch too. So I said, I'm going to try that. I'm going to scale everything back and pivot to more high effort edited clips that were music related, stuff where I could tell a story, the type of content that a fan would enjoy. This is the kind of stuff I was talking about. About a year ago, I went to a Flume show. And it was amazing. It inspired me to work on my own music again. So after making this stuff for a few weeks and getting no real results from it, I didn't really see a point in continuing. There's a lot of time to devote to do that every day. So around this time, I started working on a new song and I heard more about running ads for music promotion. And after seeing some people get some real results from this, I said, you know what? Hey, I'm going to try everything. I initially didn't try this because I wanted to try out all the free options first, because I know like you're not going to make a ton of money from streams in the first place. So spending money to get more streams seems a little backwards. So if we're going to run this sort of music promotion ad, I'm going to have like an actual video that I'm going to use. So you got to plan it, record it, edit it. So that's what I did. All of those reps from making TikToks, I think have helped because this was pretty easy to churn out. I've made so many short videos like this promoting my music, but also I have more confidence in this because I've done it before. I've promoted my music and people liked it. So this is the ad that I made. If you like Porter Robinson or Madian, you might like my music too. This is my song Rome. I hope you like it. A piece of advice that I heard is to have a few variations so the ad system that you're running this on can test out which one works the best. So I turned this one clip into 3 versions by changing the part of the song that I used at the end, the verse, the drop, the breakdown. And I thought I'd go a step further and make a visualizer too. So my hunch is that a talking head clip would perform better than a visualizer, but I'd rather test that than just go off of a hunch. I'm going to go over the setup of this campaign pretty quick. If you want more detailed notes, I've got it in the description. I wanted to run my ads on Instagram, so I got the Meta Ads Manager account. It's not my first time running ads with this program, but it may as well be. The last time I did it was 2017. All right, let's break it down. The whole point of this ad campaign is to get my video in front of someone who might like my music and get them to click through to their streaming service and listen to it. That one sentence defines everything that I need. The audience, someone who might like my music. The ability to click through to the streaming service. So you need to have a landing page with a bunch of different options for streaming services. And that page needs to communicate with the Meta Ads Manager so they know that the link was clicked, so that Meta can say, the person that liked it, we know a bunch more people that fit the same profile, we're going to show them the ads too. One other part of this is to click through to the streaming service, you need to make sure you're targeting the right countries for this. The ones where people are going to have streaming services and the ones where people are likely to have the paid version where they can actually choose to stream it. So the audience part was the easiest thing to put together. I knew my song sounds like Madian and Porter Robinson, so I also went to the fans also like section on Spotify to fill this out even more. I added a bunch of other artists that fit the same category. I also made a duplicate audience of less targeted people. This is so there's just more to test with. This one's broadly aimed at electronic music fans. The way I targeted was streaming services. They also need to match electronic music, and they also need to match a bunch of EDM festivals. And then to narrow it down even further, I said they also need to match electro, which kind of close to the genre that I make. In marketing, there's a simple economic index called like a tier 1, 2, or 3 country, which is going to be helpful for me because I need to make sure that the average person I reach is going to have enough disposable income to already have a streaming service. And so that's why I went with these countries. I didn't put that list together. Shout out to Andrew, link in the description. I set the ad spend at $10 a day and I'm going to run it for 10 days for a total of $100. The next thing I need to put together is the landing page. This is the website that we're going to direct all of the traffic from the ad to. I initially chose DistroKid. They have something called a hyperfollow page. It comes free with DistroKid, so I went with it. Super clean and minimal by design. No social media links, no song preview, just a link to the song on like 4 big streaming services. The next part was pretty tricky. tricky. If you go edit the page, there's something called a pixel and a spot to enter the Facebook Meta pixel ID. That's the thing that actually communicates with Meta that someone clicked on the streaming service. So it was like a successful ad. You get one of those pixels when you create like an ad business account with Meta. That part's pretty simple to do. But at this particular moment, when I tried putting this all together, it wasn't communicating with the ads manager. DistroKid wasn't. It caused me a lot of stress. I thought I set it up correctly and started running the campaign. So it turns out when you run something like this, you want to check it every like 10 minutes because you want to see if it's working or not. And that's where I started to realize that it wasn't working. So I'd been checking this a lot. And after like a few hundred impressions of someone actually seeing the ad, it still had 0 click-throughs. I suspected something was broken, but I figured I'd let it run overnight and see if the communication between my landing page and the ads manager fixed itself in the morning. But I woke up and nothing really changed. I cut it short at about 20 hours and only $3.53 was actually spent. You'll see it looks like I only had 1 click through, but that was actually me testing the ad out myself. Basically, it was working, but it wasn't working. It was working blindly, so I couldn't really tell how many people were clicking through or how much I was spending per click. The ads manager said I had 0 click-throughs, but I would go in on the back end in what's called the events manager, and I would see that a bunch of people were actually clicking through to the streaming links. I knew this might be an issue with setting up with the DistroKid landing page, so I went through a free version of ToneDen instead, and immediately it felt like this was going to be 10 times better. There's an option to see the live updates of stats for click-through, but also by location, so you can see if people are like clicking through it, not just in your city, like by your own clicks. And for this thing, I really want to see it working in real time, so I know that my money's not just being wasted. So I went through and created a smart link with them. This is what the new landing page looks like. So I put the pixel in this one, took it out of the DistroKid one, and I set up this to be the landing page for the ads and started it up again. And that's where we are right now. I'm waiting on the results. One thing I will want to check is if there was a Spotify stream bump through the $3.52 I spent on ads. It's possible, we'll see, but that data hasn't come in yet. Or has it? Let's check. So that data just came in. This is what it looks like. No, there was no bump. There was no real bump for that song. It was actually one of my lower streaming days. Oh yeah, but in that time off, I hit 5,000 streams on Spotify alone. On Apple Music, 444 plays. And rounding it, we are at 5,500 streams, which is 5.5% of the way to the goal. But we're going to try to bump that up with this ad campaign. All right, it's been 10 days. I've got a lot to talk about. Super excited about it. The first few days, nothing crazy happened. But during this time, I could see that the ad that I had with the most results was ad number 6. That was the visualizer one on the breakdown section. For whatever reason, that one was working. The numbers were slowly coming in, but it felt like watching paint dry. I was checking it like every hour and I would get like 2 more results. This section was when Meta was testing out which ad and which audience performed best. During this time, I could see the cost per result, meaning like the cost per new listener. That was pretty high. It averaged to be like $1 per click in the first few days. But for the most part, yeah, it was all quiet on the Western front out there. The first few days only got like 27 click-throughs. So day 5, I could obviously tell that one was performing 2 times better, meaning like the cost of it was half as much as the other one. So I was thinking, do I just turn this off to optimize the performance? But the thing is, Meta actually recommends waiting until the learning phase is officially over first. While the delivery system never stops learning about the best way to deliver an ad set, ad sets exit the learning phase as soon as performance stabilizes, usually around 50 optimization events since this last significant edit. So the thing is, I should hold off until at least 50 people go through and click the ad. The one ad set, the audience that I created that were all fans of these specific artists, almost exactly when that ad set hit 50 clicks, it took off. Immediately, it started pushing out the best ad to more people. It happened on September 7th, which was day 7. Over the next few days, the ad performed really well and brought in a lot of new listeners. It's data time. Let's look at some screenshots. So after 10 days of running ads, this is what my Spotify looks like. And you can tell where day 7 happened right about here, where the performance started being optimized. Basically, it didn't give me any real results the first 7 days. And then the last 3, it gave all of the results. I got a huge bump up in streams. The same is pretty much true of listeners, playlist ads, and saves. Something interesting to note is you can only save a song once. That's basically a good indicator that someone's discovering the song for the first time. This is my ToneDen account, the one I used to create that little landing page of streaming links. Nothing Nothing crazy here, but you can really see when it started turning on. In case you're interested in where my ads were being placed, I turned it on for Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger in the feed and Reels and Stories. And by far the best performing one was Instagram Reels in the mobile app. So after 10 days of running ads, where does my total streams for this song end up? On Spotify, 5,873 plus Apple Music, 560 gives us a total of 6,433 total streams, or 6.4% of our goal of 100,000 streams. We also got something else to celebrate. We hit a new high of monthly listeners on Spotify, 1,280. Time to log it in my rank tracker, and bam, there we go. That's what it looks like. That places us solidly in the Gold 1 rank for our Road to Pro Producer rank system. So after 10 days of running this campaign, I wanted to share some of my thoughts. To be honest, running ads feels better than grinding that TikTok content. There's more of a guaranteed result when I'm doing this. Making TikToks in 2023 felt like I was gambling my time and shouting into the void. I didn't know if it would be successful, and most times it wasn't. There was 3-4 times that I made a really successful video and the streaming numbers really came from it. But other than that, it felt like a waste of time. TikTok was free to make, but it cost me hours every day and it got few results. People would find my stuff through TikTok, but it never felt like a great return on the amount of time that I invested in every single TikTok. That versus the ads that I just ran, it costs a lot, yeah, but it ran in the background, so it didn't take any of my time every day that I was running it. And it did get results. It got good results. So after 10 days of running ads, they already are the clear-cut winner. That's not to discount the massive push that all those TikToks gave me. That's the only reason I had streams before I started running this campaign. But the numbers don't lie. I was able to demolish my previous daily stream record 3 days in a row at the end of those 10 days. This is what that looked like. It's pretty obvious. Those 3 days in a row at the end outperformed any other day that I had previously. Other things that I didn't expect from this ad campaign, I didn't expect people to like and comment on the ad itself. I kept getting likes and comments and people following me on Instagram from it. I got a new record of catching people listening to my song. I got 3 at a time for the first time. So overall, I'm really satisfied, especially because this was basically my first ad ever. It was really nice seeing the cost per result go down every day. At the very end, the cost per result was 16 cents. That number was going down because they had the right audience and the right ad for it. The ad that performed the best was actually ad 3, which was when I talked to the camera and played the music clip from the breakdown. All right, let's talk about what's next. If you're anything like me, you were probably doing some mental math during this video, trying to see if this was a profitable strategy. So that's the question. Does this break even as it is? Short answer is no. Here's some napkin math to prove it. So my recent Spotify payout per 1,000 plays is $3.36. And from that overall graph, my streams per listener is roughly 5 for this song since the release date. So if I'm assuming that a 16-cent cost per new listener, the cost to acquire 200 listeners, which is what would get me 1,000 plays, the cost would be $32. And for 1,000 streams, that would mean I'm down $28.64. But that's where Spotify comes in. You see, there's a real golden goose when it comes to streams, and those are Spotify's algorithmic playlists. Once you get into Spotify's algorithm, they know that your music is something people want to listen to. They essentially give you free plays. In my personal experience, this is true as well. I'll ask people more and more since I started this Road to Pro Producer thing. I'll ask them, how do you find new music? And the response I usually get is some variation of suggested music. You're making a playlist and Spotify suggests songs that are similar through the Spotify Enhance button, or listening to the Discovery Weekly playlist from Spotify, or you're playing one song and you just let Spotify Radio take over. So the goal on any music campaign like this is to get enough traction on the song that Spotify's algorithm recognizes it and starts to push it out to people on their Discover Weekly, on Spotify's radio or autoplay. And I think with the current ad that I have, getting that amount of traction could be possible. So I was spending $10 in ad spend per day, and I ran this for 10 days. So 70% of that time and budget was spent in the learning phase. So I'm interested to see how this same ad could perform in the future. But that's going to be for next episode, trying to get into the Spotify algorithm. That's going to be it for this episode. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.